Today we're on the University of Oregon campus at the Knight Law Center. This is the first AT&I Changing Currents Tribal Water Summit. The purpose of the summit is to bring Oregon tribes together to discuss priorities and common visions that we have around our water resources.
Our interests for the fisheries are similar to other folks. You know, we need clean water, we need adequate water to provide for all the natural resources that are important not only for the exercise of the tribe's treaty rights, but for recreationalists. I mean, the things that make our homeland, that make Oregon great, are those very things. I even see that that's a conflict with some consumptive users and folks that want to pursue significant development. So, but we really believe if we do what's right for the Klamath tribes and our treaty resources, it'll benefit the region.
For the Nez Perce tribe, we have pretty significant issues facing the water quality and quantity of the water that is found in the rivers and streams on our reservation as well as off our reservation in our ceded territories. We've had a lot of different activities in the past as well as some of those that are ongoing that impact water quality and quantity, those being agriculture, irrigation, logging, mining, that has really taken its toll on our water resources.
I think it's not simply the water resources that exist on our reservations, on our tribal properties, but the water that comes in off of other properties and onto our reservation. We are so secluded in many cases that people can damage resources off of the reservation that affect us at our homes.
I think water quality is a tremendous challenge facing our water resources and the fish and the people who rely on our rivers and streams. Most of the streams that have been studied in Oregon have water quality challenges, the vast majority of them serious temperature challenges. And that, of course, is a huge limiting factor for our fisheries, on which tribal people depend. But also we're learning more and more that our rivers and our fish contain toxic contaminants that, at the rate tribal people eat fish, could be damaging to our health. And so I really believe that it is going to be critical for the tribes to work with the states and our other partners to do better, to reduce those toxic loads and to restore our streams to a temperature regime that can support our fish.
I think the biggest challenge is that many people think water is unlimited, therefore they don't see no real need to make any changes.
As we started looking at trying to address some of the issues and identifying the agencies that work with water, we had a couple of diagrams, a number of state agencies, and another chart with federal agencies. Well, there were at least 20 state agencies that had overlapping and interlocking jurisdiction for different water management functions. And it also showed which were coordinating with one another. Likewise, the same thing with federal agencies. Well, that's almost 40 agencies that have overlapping and interlocking jurisdiction over water.
There's a lot of opportunities because, tribes have said, we need to increase our water management, but I think we need to start developing that partnerships better with the state and federal agencies to say, we are concerned about the water, you need to be concerned about the water as well, and therefore we need to pull together to say, this is how we're going to start managing our water. This is how we're going to start protecting and even restoring our water in some areas.
I think there are huge opportunities in terms of the partnerships that are available to tribes. Tribes have worked so hard for so long to gain their seat at the table, and they've successfully done that. And I think more than in 20 years, we have state agencies, nonprofit groups, intertribal, recognition of our common interest and our common goals. So I think there's tremendous opportunities to work with new partners. Some of those may be watershed councils to really come together and demand a better future for Oregon streams and rivers. I think it's time to demand more action. We know our rivers are in trouble. We know a great many of the things that could make those conditions better. And so I think it's really time for tribes to work together to push for action?
Education. Obviously, I work at the University of Oregon. I believe that education is the silver bullet, not only for tribal members themselves, but also as we become the credentialed water engineers, environmental scientists, anthropologists, lawyers, environmental lawyers. We are going to be educating those that are around us too. So I think tribes desperately need to empower and support their young scholars who want to go to colleges where they can earn a degree that will help them come home.
This conference today is pulling people together to talk about water, and I think that's the first step. And first of all, you have to get people together to say, you know, there is a water concern. And like I said, it's not like saying we're going to drop off and die or anything like that, but it is saying this is an issue that we need to start working on. And getting the right people in the room is the very first step.
The conference today that we're attending, I think, is very helpful. You know, we're able to interact with not only other tribal folks, but folks from the state agencies and federal agencies. You know, just sharing of information and coming together on and creating a better understanding of what we're dealing with and how we can more effectively work together. I think that's helpful.
Well, I just got through talking with Mark Healy, who was once worked with Warm Springs' tribal water rights, and he was saying, you know, well, we've got intertribal agriculture, we've got intertribal timber company, we've got intertribal housing, we've got intertribal employment rights, but where do we talk about water? The first gift of the Creator. We need to have some sort of forum where we can actively or productively talk about, as tribes, our interest in water, to the extent that we can take that sense of spirituality and put aside all of the competing interests and talk about what we have in common. And I think this is just in a brief visit with Mark. Where do we talk about water? So we need that forum, and we need some leadership to take us there. And just looking at the agenda and the speakers, I think we've got, you know, the necessary elements